What's going on, everybody? This is the Roaming Prepper channel. Thank you for coming to check out the video. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe. You can dislike if you want. I prefer you put a thumbs up, but you may not like what I say, so you may put a thumbs down. That's fine too. Leave any technical questions in the comments and I will try to reply to them in a day or so. I kind of sometimes pre-record these because of my work schedule, so I get a bit busy. However, so the question is, are we really in a recession? Or are we not? What's the facts? So much like my Let's Challenge the Science videos, I'm gonna challenge the narrative. Let's challenge a narrative, but let's do it with some information that makes sense. I'll be right back and let's find out exactly what's going on and what we can do about it. Welcome back, everybody, and thank you for coming to visit the Roaming Prepper channel. I'm your host, Pete, and today we're talking about recession, yes or no? What's our situation? It's kind of weird because everyone kind of had an idea what the definition of recession is. All of a sudden now GDP numbers came out for Q2 of 2022, and the administration's now like, well, we're teetering on a recession. Well, other people say, no, we're already in it. I mean, you know, bleach is $6 a freaking bottle. That's recession, you know. Well, that's inflation actually. So what's going on? So let's go a textbook definition. Let's start there. So this is John Hancock Investments. The website's jhinvestments.com. That would be kind of what the website looks like. What happens in a recession? Well, we already know what happens. What is a recession? There we go. The common definition is 2 consecutive quarters of a decline in GDP. That's the gross domestic product of the United States. In a very generic way, product out versus product in, and there's a calculation there that basically tells you you've sold more than you've taken in, therefore your GDP is X. This isn't necessary for the economy to be in a recession. A recession just needs to be a contraction in the economy featuring shrinking production and consumption, higher unemployment, and changes in price levels. So recession commonly is acknowledged to be 2 consecutive quarters of reduced GDP, right? Now, if it goes January goes down, February goes up, March goes down, then that's technically not a fully negative quarter. But when they keep going down and you get 2 fully negative quarters, that's basically what you have. So another person says, a significant decline in economic activity spread across the economy lasting more than a few months, normally visible in real GDP, real income, employment, industrial production, and wholesale retail sales. So let's think about that for a second. Let's go through those, and this is from John Hancock Investments. You can go to another site. You like Fidelity, Edward Jones, the Washington Post, New York Post, whatever floats your boat. But here we go. So real income to people has gone down, right? Real income's adjusted for inflation, right? Employment has been steady. Industrial production definitely down. Wholesale retail sales are taking a hit. Target and Walmart are doing sales right now because they can't unload product. Because they had such a backlog last year, all the product arrived now, bam, you got that. So that checks off a lot of boxes. But the big traditional definition is GDP. So let's look at GDP of Q1 according to the US government, the Bureau of Economic Analysis, and it's www.bea.gov. And it says real gross domestic product decreased at an annual rate of 1.6% in the first quarter of 2022. Bam, there you go. So that's quarter number 1. So we're moving on. Quarter number 2. This is CNBC, because I'm going to mix up my references here, making a case. CNBC. Now, what I find funny is they say GDP fell 0.9%, and it's a strong recession signal. Wrong. It's a recession signal. Now, some people may argue, I know different economists have different ways of looking at it. So, did we check the first two boxes? Quarter one and quarter two, both negative. Yes, we checked them. Let's go back to that original definition. And going back, employment or unemployment's been kind of flat. Industrial production is down. Wholesale retail down. Real income, like my income, your income, is adjusted for inflation. We all know our dollars buy less. That's down. So that's a lot of boxes. I think the only one is the employment because I haven't looked at the numbers. So, why are they saying it's a recession indicator? Everything in this textbook definition of a recession has happened. Now, you can argue with me, we can get into the weeds about, well, this guy has this definition, that one has that one, that's fine. You're in a recession. What does that mean? Well, basically, it's a decline in the overall economy, but it's not just us. Europe's getting hit. You got supply chain issues. I mean, we've talked about a lot of this other stuff. Oh, and we got two countries having an all-out cat fight in Eastern Europe right now and killing people and blowing up ships and all sorts of fun stuff. So, that looks to me, by the definition here, and then looking at the different articles from different sources, because I will get someone saying, oh, you're fear-mongering because they're pendejo. No, it's right here. And if you don't like mainstream media, look somewhere else. I promise you, most of them are going to say the same thing, right? Because it's what's happening. So now what, right? You got a recession, great. So what does that lead to? Well, you're going to eventually start having layoffs. Tesla's threatening to lay off if they haven't already. Amazon's doing the same. Walmart is reporting really bad quarter, possible layoffs. So, which I don't understand because, I mean, it takes a freaking hour to check out a Walmart. Why would they cut people? Anyway, so there it is. There's the evidence for it. Now, question is, what do you do about it? Well, this one's a little more nebulous, right? It's not like buy more beans, buy more rice, get batteries, right? It's a little more of a soft skill set. So this is another one from CNBC, but it also comes from, I can't see the name of this person, Michelle Eva, who I believe, if I recall correctly, she is an economist, and I can't remember the school, so sorry about that. But this article, 5 steps you can take right now. This one's on NBC as well. So, and I like this particular, and like I said, I like watching the financial pages because the political pages, they just spin, right? Financial, it's like, well, we have inflation. You can't, how do you lie about that? If you lie and then people lose millions of dollars, you get fired. Like, retarded economists are not going to stick around. Not to be politically incorrect, but if you're a dumbass economist, you're gone. Nobody's going to hire you because you're a fool. So they say, 1, upgrade your job. In other words, do the best job you can at the employment you have. If you're self-employed, obviously, you want to minimize any waste. You want to do your job as well as you can. They also recommend updating your resume with your current job. It doesn't mean you're going to quit. There are 2 reasons, and this is from me, it's not from the article, 2 reasons to have a resume, even if you love your job. 1, you may not love your job next month and you may need to find a new one, so you have a resume. But 2, if your job has an opportunity to promote, and they're like, well, they're going to pick you or Frodo over here, and now you have to choose. I always have a resume ready to go, or one that I can fix up in less than half an hour. I keep it updated, so if they're like, well, this position is open, I'll send you my resume. It's in my own company. I've done it before. It's a smart practice to always have an updated resume, even if you're self-employed. Okay, self-employment has a lot of skills that office people don't get. And unless you're in a job like mine where you're kind of managing facilities, you don't see some of this stuff. But self-employed folks do, right? You understand the logistics, the ordering, the purchasing, the accounts receivable. You kind of get that variety. You can still list that. Put it on your resume. You may have to close your shop and go work for a company, maybe come back to that shop or that dream later. There's nothing wrong with that. Have the resume up to date. Always a smart move. 2, reduce expenses. That's easy enough. So, and we're all guilty of it, right? I mean, some of us were like, ooh, that looks really cool, or I think I need it. And it's a fine line. You want to reduce expenses, but get the things you need. You need a generator for the house because we are having blackouts, but that's $500 or whatever $100 it is. Or you can save the $500. You got to make a judgment call, guys. But you kind of get what I'm saying. But that's something that's important, right? That makes sense. If it's $500 on going to stupid Disney World, who pisses me off anyway because they ruined Star Wars, or buy the generator or save the $500, I would recommend either buy a generator or save the $500 and don't spend it on stupid Disney, who doesn't like most preppers anyway. Also, if you can, have an emergency fund. Now understand, your emergency fund does not have to be thousands of dollars. If you can do it, great. If not, every payday, take $5, put it in a coffee can, no touchy. Hell, glue the coffee can lid, make a little hole so that you know if someone messed with it. And you'll be shocked. In an emergency, you open it, you have an extra $200 you forgot about. If you can't do that, also, just to add to this, not just bulk up on your emergency fund, this is where preppers come in. Bulk up on your supplies, your batteries, your rice, your water, whatever it is you need. So have that fund, because keep in mind, preps are kind of an emergency fund, right? If I get laid off tomorrow and I have no job, well, I have preps in the house. I can start using those to prevent me from having to go to the store and spend money, and then I can redirect that money toward other efforts. You get me? So a prep is not literally, but in a way of speaking, is its own emergency fund. So keep that in mind. Number 4, pay down debt. This is a good one. I've been working very hard on that. I know a lot of you have too. Get rid of those credit cards. Get your credit score as high as possible. If you have to relocate for a new job, if you have to make a move during this recession, if you have to sell your home, buy a smaller one, you're going to downsize a bit, save some money. Have that debt down, your credit score up as much as you can. I know a lot of the stuff I'm saying you may not be able to do easily, but do it in pieces. Do it at, what they used to tell us in elementary school. How did the man eat the elephant? One piece at a time, same thing. Lastly, stay invested. Now, this is their recommendation, not mine. What they say is don't freak out and close your 401 or close your stocks or make abrupt purchases. I'm going to go, because I know a lot of folks don't invest or don't have a 401, but I'm going to expand on this stay invested, and instead I'm going to say stay invested in the right things. So if you're like, do I put money into 401 or do I buy a ranch and pay off the taxes and now I own the land? That's a reasonably good question. So again, do what's best for you. You all know your own situation, I don't. But instead of just stay invested, because obviously it's a financial website, so they're like, stay invested, invest in so-and-so. No, stay invested in the right things. Whether it may be the stock market for you. You may have enough knowledge to say, okay, I'm going to move from stocks to bonds. I'm going to get silver. I'm going to invest in commodities and move my money around so I can take the hit and then catch it on the upswing, right? Great. But if not, invest that money in the right things. Fix your car up. That's a good prep. You don't have to break down your car in the middle of the abyss, right? You guys get what I'm saying, but I'm spinning what they're saying a little bit, because this is specifically for stock. Invest in the right things. Guys, there are things you can do, and none of this directly costs you any money. I mean, obviously paying bills costs money, but you get what I'm saying. These are things you can do a bit at a time. You may not be able to do all of them. Do one of them. You can upgrade your resume tonight and it costs you $0, right? You can buy extra food and it doesn't cost you much. So if you do lose your job, or you're not getting your pension check, or whatever happens, or if you're on support and you're not getting your support, bam, you have that food there, you can get by. And that's what prepping is, right? I used the analogy before, I'll use it again. It's like a boxer taking punches versus a person in the street getting cold cocked and knocked on their butt, right? If you're walking down the street, someone hits you, you don't see it coming, you don't react, they hit you square, down you go, you took a terrible hit. Boxers get hit way harder than you'll get hit in the street, right? They're getting hit by a professional. But what do? They tuck, they roll, they turn their head, they take the hit and then come back. And they come back, they breathe out, take the hit, and then come after the opponent. That's what you need to be thinking like. Think like a boxer or fighter. right? You're going to take the hit, but you're going to roll with it and you're going to come back stronger. That's how you need to think of this. So guys, I'm going to call it here. I hope this video was useful. And again, there are things you can do tonight at zero cost. All right? Don't freak. Plan. And as we've discussed on my channel, and a lot of my guests are saying it, plan or observe, plan, then react. And make sure you react is well thought out as best as you can, right? So guys, God bless, Godspeed. I'm going to cut this one off today. I hope to see you guys on the next video. I will see you later. Be cool out there.